facing problem in direct and indirect speech? Let's go ahead. Hello children, in this video we are going to study direct and indirect speech, a very important topic for class 9th and class 10th. Okay, so let us begin. There are two ways of relating what a person has said. Okay, so first one is quoting his or her actual words, which is known as direct speech, and the second one when it is said without quoting the words. Okay, and that way is called indirect or reported speech. Okay, so what is direct speech? For example, let us see, he said in past. Okay, I am busy now. So who is I? This fellow. Okay, this he is I. In indirect speech, he said that. Then to remove the commas, we have used that. Then this I is he. So he, am is in present. And then when we would report it into indirect speech, we would convert this into past. So am will be converted into was. So he was busy. And now will be converted into then. Okay, let us see in detail. In the indirect speech, in the example, the verb said that introduces the reported speech. Such a verb is called the reporting verb. Okay, so these two verbs are, especially this verb is reporting verb. Okay, let us see what is important to note here. Okay, so in the direct speech, what we have to take care? The first one, the actual words of the speaker are put within the inverted commas like this. Okay, and exactly in which tense the speaker spoke the sentence. Okay. Second, the first word of the reported speech, which is the actual word of the speaker, begins with a capital letter, as you can see here. Third, the reported speech is separated by a comma from the reporting verb. See, all 3 points are being proven here. Okay, in this example, right? Now what's there in indirect speech? So in indirect speech, we need to take care that the inverted commas are not used. Okay, but the reported speech is generally introduced by the conjunction that. Okay, see in this example, he said that. Second, the comma separating the reporting verb from the reported speech is removed. See here, the commas are not used. Okay. Third, the tense of the reporting verb is never changed. Okay, this is reporting verb, said. And the tense of this verb is not changed at all. Next word says the question mark and the mark of exclamation are not used. Okay, further we will see that the question is converted into a statement. Okay, because the speaker is asking the question, not the person who is talking about it. That person is only reporting. Okay. The fifth one, interrogative, imperative and exclamatory sentences are put as statements, as I have just said. Now third important point is what that you have to remember, the change of tenses. Okay. While changing the direct speech into the indirect speech, the rules of the sequence of tenses are followed. Okay, so before you solve direct to indirect, you must be clear with all the rules of tenses. Okay, all 4 parts of present, all 4 parts of past, and all 4 parts of future, right? Let's go ahead with rule number 1. So rule 1 says, if the reporting verb is in the present or future tense, okay, the tense of the verb in the reported speech is not changed at all. For example, let us see. In the direct speech, it is written, he says, I am ready. Okay, you have to focus on this verb. Okay, reporting verb. So indirect says he says that he is ready. It will remain in present because this is present. Okay. Now he says I was ready. He says that he was ready. He will say I am ready. He will say that he is ready. Okay. So why it is like that? Because the first rule says that if the reporting verb is in the present or future tense, present or will says future, says present, will says future. So if the reporting verb is in present or future, the tense of the verb in the reported speech, this am, was, am, is not changed at all. Okay, let us move to the second rule. Now the second rule says if the reporting verb is in the past tense, okay, reporting verb, this one said, if the reporting verb is in the past tense, the tense of the verb in the reported speech is changed into one of the forms of the past tense. Let us see how. A simple present becomes a simple past. He said, this one is in past. I write a letter is in present tense. So I write a letter will be converted into simple past. How? He said that. Who is this I? This. He said that. He, write will be converted into wrote. He wrote a letter. So this particular is in simple past and this one is changed into, this one is in simple present. Sorry. Okay. This one is in simple present. I write a letter is in simple present and he wrote a letter is in simple past. Okay, let's move ahead. Let's see. A present continuous becomes a past continuous. He said, this one is talking about past. Okay, I am writing a letter. So he was writing a letter. A present perfect becomes a past perfect. He said, I have written a letter. He said that he had written a letter. Present perfect to past perfect. Now, a simple past becomes a past perfect. Okay, so here you have one more choice. A simple past can also remain in simple past. For example, it says, he said, I wrote a letter. Here we just need to make necessary changes in pronoun. Okay, don't forget that we need to change pronouns always. He said that he had written a letter. In case you write, he said, or if you get some options, okay, MCQ kind of question you get, and for this you get he said that he wrote a letter, so that answer will also be correct here. Okay, and this is also correct that he said that he had written a letter. Let's move forward. A past continuous becomes past perfect continuous. How? He said I was writing a letter. He said that he had been writing a letter. Again, see here we are doing the necessary changes in pronoun. A past perfect and a past perfect continuous remain unchanged as I was talking in simple past. Okay, so he said the flood had destroyed their fields. What we have to just change here? The pronouns wherever it is required. He said that the flood had destroyed their fields. He said Amina had been singing. He said that Amina had been singing. Suppose here you get he said he had been singing. So what you have to do? He said that he had been singing. Okay, suppose here it says he said I had been singing. It would be he said that he had been singing. Okay, only we need to make necessary changes in pronouns. Otherwise this tense and this tense, the past perfect and the past perfect continuous, they remain unchanged. Okay, I mean the sentence structure will not be changed. Okay beta. Now will changes into would, shall into should or would, can into could, and may into might. Okay, so when it is written here shall into should or would, this is written into the context of tense. Okay, if it is used, if this one is used as modal, then only we will make it into should. Okay, like here it is written in the context of a tense. He said I will write a letter. So he said that he would write a letter. Okay, most probably in direct indirect speech you will not get I shall write a letter. You will always get will. Okay, so there would be no confusion about using would or should. Okay, so mostly you will get shall as modal. Fine. Let's move ahead to rule 3. Now rule 3 says if the reported speech expresses some universal truth or habitual action, the tense of the verb in the reported speech is not changed into the corresponding past but remains exactly as it is. Okay, even if the reported verb is in past, but if the reported speech is talking about some universal truth, okay, or universal and something which talks about habits, okay, scientific facts and all, that will remain in the same tense. Okay, let us see how. Two and three make five. Okay, this is fact. Okay, this is fact, so it will not be changed into past. So he said that 2 and 3 make 5. He said man is mortal. He said that man is mortal. Okay, no need to make it as man was mortal. So man is mortal is correct. Let us see habitual actions. He said I go to the temple every Tuesday. So it is the habit. So he said that he goes to the temple every Tuesday. Next example, he said I am an early riser. In indirect, he said that he is an early riser. So until this fellow is alive, we have to use the same structure, right? Now let's see how say is converted into tell. When it is converted, when the reporting verb, okay, when the reporting verb say takes an indirect object, it is changed into tell in the indirect speech. Okay, so if in direct speech it takes any indirect object, so say is converted into tell. Okay, many times we get confused why say is converted into tell. Okay, so let's see how. In direct speech, if it is written we shall go home, he said to me. So he told me that they would go home. Here shall is converted into would. It is used in the context of tense. Okay, let's move to rule 4. Rule 4 talks about some important changes. Okay, so in the reported speech, the words expressing nearness of time or place, they are changed into words showing distances. Okay, something which is near, okay, that will show more distance in indirect speech. Let's see how. Now becomes then, ago becomes before, this becomes that, here becomes there, these becomes those, hence becomes thence, come becomes go, today becomes that day, yesterday becomes the previous day, tonight becomes that night, hither becomes thither, last night becomes the previous night, thus becomes so, and tomorrow is converted into the next day. Okay, let us see the example. He said it is raining now. In indirect, he said that it was raining then. Now is converted into then. Second, he said last night I met my friend. Indirect, he said that he had met his friend the previous night. So last night is the previous night. Next one, he said I'm glad to be here this evening. He said that he was glad to be there that evening. Here becomes there, this becomes that. Okay, let us see some important points to remember here. There are some exceptions with this. Okay, so what are they? Let us see. If the words this, now, or here, okay, they refer to the same object or same time or place, then there should be no change. Okay, we don't have to make change. So then no change is made in the adjective or adverb in the indirect speech. Let us see how. In example, if it says he said, I will do it now or never. He said that he would do it now or never, because these now or never, okay, these words are referring to same object. Okay, she said my book is here. She said that her book was here. The word here is expressing same object. Third one, this is the house I like, he said. He said that this was the house he liked. Okay, so this here, the word this is referring to the same object, this. Okay, let's move to rule 5. Now rule 5 says the nouns and pronouns in vocative case are turned into objects in the indirect speech. Okay, so what is vocative case? So a vocative case is a grammatical case which is used to directly address or give reference to someone within a sentence. Okay, let me give you one example. Okay, like we say, John, can you please pass the salt? Okay, so here the noun John is vocative case. Okay, so let's move ahead here. If in direct speech it is written, the teacher said, Arun, you should try hard. So in indirect, the teacher told Arun that he should try hard. Okay, so what is important to note here? If the person addressed reports the speech, the second person is changed to the first. Okay, how? Let us see. He said to me, you are a clever boy. In indirect speech, he told me that I was a clever boy. Let us see what is important to note here. If the pronoun he or she stands for different persons, the names of the persons referred to are inserted in brackets after the pronouns. Besides, nouns could be used instead of pronouns wherever possible. Let us see how. Arun said to Amit, I want your pen. So who want whose pen? I is Arun, your is Amit. So Arun told Amit that he, Arun, wanted his, Amit's pen. Okay, so this is the way you can solve this kind of question. Okay, let us see assertive sentences, positive one. Assertive sentences in the indirect speech are usually introduced by the conjunction that. Okay, now we will see positive, negative, interrogative kind of sentences. Okay, so if in direct speech it is written, they said to Anuj, you are a brave boy. So indirect, they told Anuj that he was a brave boy. Okay, assertives are very simple. Second, the verb tell. Okay, the verbs tell, inform, remind, and assure always take a personal object after them. Hence, the form said to me is changed generally into told me and sometimes into informed me or reminded me or assured me. Okay, as the sense may require. Okay, as per the sense it is conveying. Let's see how. In an indirect speech, it says, the teacher said to me, I have never seen such a lazy girl as you are. Indirect, the teacher told me that She had never seen such a lazy girl as I was. All nouns and pronouns in the vocative case. I hope you remember what is vocative case now. In the vocative case, in the reported speech are turned into the personal objects of the reporting verb. How? Let's see. Ramesh said, "Sister, you are late today." Okay, this word sister is vocative case. I hope you remember this. So indirect says, Ramesh told his sister that she was late that day. Let us see important change of pronouns. So pronouns of the first person are changed into the person of the subject of the reporting verb. How? I said I can help anybody now. I said that I could help anybody then. Okay? I pronoun. Rajni said, I am unwell today. Rajni said that I become she was unwell that day. Keep on focusing. Today is converted into that day. Now is converted into then. Okay, along with noun or along with pronoun. Okay, along with pronoun. Please remember that we are also changing this time expression. Third sentence, you said I am leaving for New Delhi. Indirect says you said that you were leaving for New Delhi. This you is this I. Second rule says pronouns of the second person. Okay, first person is speaker, second person listener. Pronouns of the second person are changed into the person of the object of the reporting verb. Here it was subject, okay, and here it is object. Let's see how. She said to me, you have always encouraged me. She told me that okay, this me is you. I had always encouraged her. Direct, I said to the stranger, you have followed the wrong way. I told the stranger that he had followed the wrong way. Okay, now in this case, even if you write she here, your answer will be considered correct. Okay. Third rule, pronouns of the third person remain unchanged. How? He said, she is a nice girl. In indirect, he said that she was a nice girl. You said to me, he is not working well. Okay. Now, first person, second person, both are talking about third person. You told me that he was not working well. Okay, so this is all positive. Let us move to imperative sentences. When the direct speech is an imperative mood, what are imperative moods? Command, advise, request. Okay, these. So the reporting verb say or tell is changed to some verb expressing a command, advice, or a request. In such case, you should select the right verb best suited to the sense of the imperative sentence. Okay, such verbs are given below. See, to express command, order, command, bid, tell, advise, urge. For request, ask, desire. For entreaty, beg, pray, entreat, implore. For proposal, suggest, propose. For prohibition, forbid. Okay. Second important point here is the imperative mood is changed into the infinitives. Okay, so there are two infinitives and bare infinitive. Third, the rules for the change of are to be observed. Okay, like I already said that we have to change the pronouns. Okay. Next one, that is generally not used. Okay, the word that is generally not used when we are solving imperative sentences. Okay, it is used if we use that, then what is the condition? Then should is replaced below the imperative instead of to. Next point says when let In the direct speech expresses a proposal or suggestion, you may use the word should and change the reporting verb into propose or suggest. Let us see the example how. He said to us, let us have some coffee. Okay, the word let. Indirect, he proposed, or we can also write he suggested to us that we should have some coffee. Okay, the suggestion is involved. Now, when the word let does not express a proposal, it should be changed into might or might be allowed or into some other verb according to the sense. How? Let us see in the example. He said to his friends, let me study please. Okay, so in indirect it would be he requested his friends that he might be allowed to study. Let us see the examples. Direct sentence. Call the accused, said the judge. The judge ordered them to call the accused. Next, he said to Lena, lend me your pen please. Indirect, he requested Lena to lend him her pen. Next, Anand said to me, work regularly. Indirect, Anand advised. Okay, this is an advice. So Anand advised me to work regularly. The intention of direct speech, right, is converted into this indirect. We write at the place of reported verb. Okay, so the intention of imperative sentence is converted into reported verb here. Okay, the teacher said to the pupils, do not stand here. The teacher forbid the students to stand there. Let us see the exclamatory sentences. In reporting a wish or an exclamation in the indirect speech, first rule says the reporting verb say or the verb tell is changed into wish, bless, pray, cry, exclaim, declare, confess, cry, cry out, etc. Okay. With such phrases as with regret, with delight or joy, with sorrow, wherever it is necessary. Okay, so if happiness is described, then we will use the word related to happiness. If sorrow is described, then we will use the words related to sorrow. Secondly, the interjections and exclamations such as oh, well, and the remaining one, these interjections, okay, hooray, else, bravo, curse it, these are omitted and their sense is expressed by means of suitable phrases. Okay, so into indirect we don't use these words, we replace them with their sense. Okay, the words which describe the sense of these words. Third, the exclamatory form is changed into a statement and the note of exclamation is replaced by a full stop. Okay, let us see how in examples. In direct speech, it says, God save my son. So indirect, he prayed that God might save his son. Direct speech, they said, hooray, we have won the match. Okay, happiness. Indirect, they exclaimed with delight that they had won the match. Direct speech, she said, oh, he is dead. Okay, so this dead here it describes sorrow. She cried out with sorrow that he was dead. Next one, what a horrible accident it is, he said. Okay, expressing sorrow. He exclaimed that it was a horrible accident. Let us move to interrogative sentences. In reporting a question in the indirect speech, we need to take care of following points. First, the reporting verb is changed to asked, inquired, demanded, etc. Okay. Second, rather or if is used after such an introductory verb whenever the direct question admits of one or two answers. Okay. It means if we have yes or no answer type questions, we can start the indirect with rather or if. Okay. Third, the note of interrogation which is placed after questions in the direct form is replaced by a full stop. Fourth, if the question begins with an interrogative pronoun or an interrogative adverb such as the words like we call them WH words, what, which, when, whose, who, where, how and why, the same word is used in the indirect speech or introduces the words spoken by the speaker. Okay, so if it is a yes no question, then we have to begin it with the words if or whether. If the question begins with WH words, then we have to begin this with WH word itself. How? Let us see. The direct speech says, he said to us, are you going away today? Okay, so it is a yes no. Either the answer will be either yes or no. So let us see. Now remember that interrogative sentences would be converted into statements when they are converted into indirect speech. Okay, so he inquire to us whether we were going away that day. Okay, so this is a question. It has been turned into inquired. Okay, let's move to the next one. Next, he said to me, do you know the way? It is also yes no question. So the answer is he inquired of me if or whether I knew the way. Okay, the change in tense will be as it is, as we have done for positive sentences. Okay, here we just have to remember that a question is turned into a statement when we convert it from direct to indirect. Okay, third one, she said to me, why did you write to me such an insulting letter? Okay, now this one is not yes no answer. Okay, this one is not having a yes no answer. So it is a reason giving answer. So here we have to take WH word. Okay, how? She demanded of me why. Okay, why I had written such an insulting letter to her. Okay, so since it is simple past tense, so we can also take it as why I wrote such an insulting letter to her. This is also correct. Okay, now see, this is the example, a typical kind which usually you get in exam. These are the dialogues. It means they are directly written in direct form. And how these dialogues are used as indirect way is written here. Okay, you can pause the video and read these dialogues, and they are in direct form, and this is the example in indirect form. Okay, now I'm showing you some of the exercises, hoping that you will be able to solve them, as we have already discussed all the important rules of direct and indirect speech. Okay, if you have any query, please drop a comment. As soon as I see, I would just reply. Okay, all the best all of you. See the first exercise. Report the following in indirect speech. You can take the help of the rules which we have already done. Okay, make sure you solve them on your own. These ones are question statements. Kindly pause the video and try to solve. And and these ones are imperative sentences. Okay, all the best. Please do like and share the video. Okay, help your friends too. Sharing is caring. Remember, all the best, all of you. Remember, you can always comment to ask any of the answers. Happy learning.